This is For the Creators. Welcome back to another episode of For the Creators. Today, Veneer and I sit down with the amazing Dalia Diaz. Dalia is a music video director, a photographer and creative director who's worked with the likes of Drake, Chris Brown, Stormzy, Cardi B, Wizkid, David O, tons of great artists, and she's just absolutely incredible. You can check her out on Instagram at Shot by Dalia Diaz with an S. So it's DALIADIAS. We cover everything from how Dalia got into photography and filmmaking to working with some of the biggest stars in America and the UK. There's so many takeaways from this episode. If you're at all interested in music videos or filmmaking or photography, make sure you listen to this. Make sure you share it with your friends. Make sure you share it with your collaborators. There's so many things you can take away from this. So let us know what you think. Hashtag For the Creators and enjoy.
How's it going, girl?
It's going good.
Yo, thanks for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So, just to tell our audience a little bit about you, you're a photographer, filmmaker, creative director extraordinaire.
Yep. All of that.
So, what's your background, though? Tell us a bit about that.
My background, as in my career,
like your family background, because I know your parents are Nigerian and Egyptian.
Yeah. So my mum's Nigerian, my dad is Egyptian. They met in London. I was born here as well. I went back to school in Nigeria for 4 years.
Oh, really?
That was an experience.
Age?
I went between the ages of 11 and 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought you would have said earlier.
They did ship me back. They didn't try. They did.
What was the reason behind that?
My sister was actually very naughty. She's going to kill me for saying this.
Oh, wow.
She was bad in school, and then my mum was just like, okay. You want to be being bad, yeah? All right,
Them ones where your mum says, if you do this, then you're both going back to Nigeria.
Exactly.
No, literally, she was like, we're going on holiday. I was like, yay, got there. She was like, you know when I said we're here for 2 weeks? I was like, yeah. She was like, I meant 2 years. I was like, what? 2 years ended up being 4 years, and it was crazy.
What was that like?
Looking back at it now, I'm happy for the experience, but at the time I was just so upset because I started year 7 here and then I left in year 7.
Oh, year 7.
And then I came back to the same school. So I was like the new girl all over again.
Wow.
Yeah, but
crazy.
then I was in boarding school in Nigeria, so I didn't leave the school and I was just like, this is my world now. This is new to me. Like, it was crazy.
Was it all girls
Yeah.
boarding school?
Yeah, I went to a girls' school here and a girls' school in Nigeria as well.
That must have been crazy different, though, because imagine growing up here with your family.
Yeah.
Going on holiday.
Yeah.
Never coming back.
Yeah.
And then literally being independent, because boarding school, you're literally like fending for yourself.
Yeah, literally. Like, it was the craziest thing ever. Like, I just remember, like, day one, everyone just like, it was like an open plan, like bathroom, like everyone was just taking a shower in front of everyone. I was like, what is this? Like, and this is like back in the day, obviously.
Yeah.
In the village as well. I wasn't in Lagos, like where it's all bougie and nice. Like, I was actually in the village. So it was just like, everything was just new to me.
A culture shock as
Yeah.
well.
It was a
culture
massive
shock.
culture shock. Like, yeah, I remember like my first time coming back to London from that experience. I was like, I looked at my toothpaste and I was just like, I'm never taking it for granted again. Like, because before I just squeeze it, like, like brush my teeth 15 times, like things like that. But actually seeing like the struggle out there and like, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't take anything for granted. So like people don't even like at the time, like, you know, from where we're from, like it was just crazy. Like, I remember every morning, like I had to fetch water from the well. Like there's like, you can't just go and open the tap. Like, obviously now you can, but
that's crazy.
I went through all of that. Yeah.
In my mind, when I think of boarding school, I still think.
I think of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
No.
That don't sound like no boarding school.
No.
That sounds like a refugee camp.
No, basically, that's kind of what, like, it was really weird. I feel like, because half the school was like really bougie and the other half was like suffering. So it was like,
wow.
Yeah. So I feel like.
Why was that?
Because so obviously like the principal and his wife lived there as well.
Okay.
Obviously because like boarding school they have to be like there all the time. So their side was like all nice. Like they had like a massive like house and office and like all the offices were like done up like really nice. Like they had toilets in there, like sinks, everything. And then like the students, like we had like holes in the ground, like, like, yeah, like it was crazy, like pit holes, whatever they're called. So when my mum came and she like enrolled us, like we ordered a walk and we looked around and I was like, Mummy, I don't want to go here. And my mum was like, you know what, I'm going to build the school toilets. Like, my mum was like, you're not going to go to a bougie school. Like, you're going to come here because you need to learn.
Yeah.
But I'm going to improve it for you and improve it for the rest of the students.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mum actually like built toilets for the school and like things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it was a mad experience. Like I remember hating her so bad.
I was about to ask.
But now, like I'm so thankful for it because it just humbled me right down. Like, yeah.
It gave you the morals from the start.
Did it help with your hustling skills as well?
It definitely did, but I think like if you're Nigerian, like you're just a natural hustler anyway. So
That's true.
yeah.
Wow.
You must have been pissed with your sister though as well.
I was like, look, all of this is your fault. Like it was just mad.
Yeah.
Like I was pissed off with her. Like,
Did you end up thriving in that situation though? Obviously you've been thrown into it. How did you exit the Nigerian boarding school? Was you on top?
You know what? Like, I remember, like, on a weekly basis, I would lie and say I have malaria, so, like, they can send me home. So, like, I'll be like, oh, I'm not feeling well, I'm feverish, like, all of this stuff. And they'll be like, okay, go, like, don't give, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be around here. So I'll go home for, like, 2 days and then come back.
Where's home, though?
Like, home is in the village, like, outside of the school, basically.
Right.
Like, yeah, not in the boarding school. So I would lie and say, like, yeah, like, I have malaria. But then I did it, like, 3-4 times. They're like, you know what? We're going to bring the doctor in because this is becoming a bit too frequent now. Yeah, so the doctor came and he was like, nah, G, she ain't got malaria. Like, they're like, nah, you're not leaving. Until you, like, finish here, you're not leaving again. So I was crying. I was like, they busted my ass. But like the education system there is very different because if you don't pass your exams, you don't go up.
Don't progress.
Yeah, you don't progress, exactly. But
Same
here,
with the Caribbean as well.
exactly. But like here, like year 7, year 8, year 9, like whatever, like you're going into the next year. They don't care. Like, and then the stuff that they're actually teaching you is like university level, like in year 7 and year 8. So like you're just mad smart. And I remember like, coming back to school here, like I was just way ahead of everyone else. I was like, you kids are dumb. It was mad.
Did you meet any like key people there that are still in your life now?
No, I didn't. Like that's one thing that I do regret. Like at the time, because I just didn't, like when I was there, I just didn't enjoy the experience. Yeah, I didn't want to integrate at all. Like I was such a rebel. Like I didn't want to learn the language. Yeah, I was just really angry. But like my sister was loving it. Like she's fluent in speaking Yoruba now. Like she's and she's like a really like she's very outgoing and she's just a people's person. So
how did you then become interested in photography and filmmaking? Because what was you studying in? Just school? Normal subjects, like the normal stuff you do in school. So when I came back here, I did my GCSEs and I picked media. And then I knew from then that I wanted to like get into like the media industry and stuff. So what was it about it that made you pick it?
Honestly, like when I ask myself that question now, I think just my mum and dad's like love for pictures because they've always like collected pictures. Like we have mad albums at home, like of just anything and everything. And they just documented like us growing up through the years. And I feel like subconsciously maybe I was like, oh, that looks fun. Like, you know, see my mum and dad holding a camera like, oh, I like that. So, and then the media, I was just always like, these news reporters are always lying, man. Like, I was just always like questioning it and things like that. So, yeah, like when I studied it in school, I knew that, okay, cool, when I go to college, I want to do that as well. So went to college, studied creative media production and music videos. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So your photography focuses a lot on fashion, femininity and all of that.
Yeah.
Which one came first though? Was it the photography or the filmmaking?
No, it was the filmmaking. Being from Tottenham, you know, I obviously have access to loads of talented musicians. I fell in love with music first before I did with fashion, but I've always had like an eye for fashion. So I remember
what are the similarities between music and fashion?
Oh, that's a hard question. Put me on the spot. Similarities. I don't know if I wouldn't say similarities, but I'll definitely say like the two industries are linked because they go hand in hand. Like, as a artist nowadays anyway, like you have to pay attention to like what you're wearing, your image and things like that. And then and then fashion. Fashion's just boring without music. Things like campaigns and videos now, like you have to integrate sound. And it's like, okay, so what you're going to do for sound? Like just have someone talking, like, no, you're going to use music and things like that. Right. So, and I feel like a lot of brands, they use musicians as the face of their brand now. So it's kind of like just the world of commercialism. That's where
they work hand in hand. But sorry, I took you off track. You were saying about
how I started
filmmaking.
Filmmaking. So I was just shooting music videos in the hood for like rappers. For the mandem on the blocks. Literally, like that is how I started out doing music videos. But for me, like what the most interesting thing was, okay, cool, like these guys, like they're giving me a chance to like actually like, you know, help them with their like content and the imagery and like all of that stuff, but they're not caring about like the fashion, they're not caring about what they're wearing, they're not caring about the type of girls they're using in the videos. I was just like,
so the whole vision,
the whole like aesthetic, and I was just like,
so is that when you started realizing that you actually wanted to be a creative director as well? It was more than just more like filming a video.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And for me, like it was such a challenge because like when I started 8 years ago, and at that time, like not a lot of guys really understood the importance of these things, like all, like each of these elements, like art, like casting, fashion, like styling. But yeah, they'll be like, nah, man, like it's not for me, man. Like man's just gonna come out in my tracksuit, innit? So I was like, I'm not gonna carry on shooting music videos of guys in tracksuits. So I'm gonna move into fashion. Yeah. And then I did, and then I moved into photography from there, and then went back. Yeah.
Okay, and then you obviously used all of those elements into...
Exactly. So I feel like I definitely like just worked hard on my skills and like just mastering like the art of creating an image. And I did that in photography, and slowly people like started recognizing my work more and more and said, oh, wow, this guy actually has an eye for all of these elements like fashion, makeup, all of these things. Because at the time I was styling a lot of my shoots. So then that then gave me the opportunity to move back into videos and then be like, okay, well, it needs to look like this. Right. Let's do it properly. So I just feel like it's one of those things where you either have an eye for it or you don't. Obviously, educating yourself and actually studying is very important too. And I studied enough, like, you know, in the education establishment to actually learn a lot about it. But I feel like my eye and my taste level is what has, you know, aided that the most. Yeah. Because there's people that study and like have their masters and everything, but their work is just tasteless, and it's just like, okay, it looks amazing, but it's boring.
It looks amazing from a technical standpoint.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, exactly that. So I just kind of knew from early, like, especially because I was getting loads of different opportunities and stuff, and like the people that I was working with, I started working with like big names from very young, so that allowed me to know, okay, cool, well, these people see something in me, and, you know, I could always learn along the way. And technology is always, like, changing over the years. So you're going to have to be a student for life. So
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think, like, going back and focusing on the photography helped to widen your audience and actually open you up to people who are more established?
Yes, definitely. 100%. I feel like photography and film, like, to me, is more or less the same thing. It goes hand in hand. It's funny because a lot of filmmakers I know are not good photographers, but I feel like a good photographer can be a good filmmaker. It's really weird how it works that way around, but I feel like it definitely improved my eye. And because I started out in, you know, videos and filming anyway, like it was easy for me to make that transition into still imagery and then bring that flair into moving content. So yeah, it was quite straightforward for me anyway.
So that must really help you as well, because you see things like in frames, I guess, as opposed to just seeing it as a full image, like a full video. So you're still, even though you're not thinking, okay, this is a photograph, but consciously when you're filming it, you must be thinking, I can get some amazing dope shots out of this.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I definitely like look at things like the composition, the framing, like what's actually in the frame constantly. So I feel like with a video as well, you want to be able to like pull stills from it, and actually look back and be like, wow, that looks like a picture, that looks like a painting almost.
I've always said that as well, and it does look like that.
Thank you.
I always say, like, a good music video, you should be able to pause it at any point, frame it, and put it on your wall.
Definitely,
because it should be art. Like, you've only got what, 3-4 minutes to impress. Like, every shot needs to be on point.
Definitely,
in my perspective.
How
did you know you had good instincts? Because a lot of this is down to your instincts, right? Did you like just view things, and did you view things that you didn't like and be like, oh no, that's rubbish, like it needs to be like this, it needs to be like that, and then taking that, not like arrogance, but that taste, that level of taste into your shoots?
I feel like, I mean, definitely, I feel like you do have to be a bit of a snob for your work to be of a certain quality. It's just, you have to, like, you know, you can't really settle for less. And I feel like with me, like, from early on, I just started turning down jobs that I didn't really believe in. And, like, I'd rather do something for free that I believed in than do something that was going to pay me, like, crazy money that I wouldn't be able to show people because it's just crap.
And
I remember, like, the biggest job I turned down, I remember I was 16 and I got an offer to shoot something for £5,000.
Wow.
And, like, that was a lot of money to me at the time. I was just like, £5,000.
Yeah.
But I looked at the stuff, like, it was for a clothing brand, and I was just like, no, like, I don't like the stuff, and there's no way I could shoot it and make it look sick because I'm not working with something that you're great to begin with. Right. So, you know, you have to have the right ingredients from the jump, and I didn't have that. So, but looking back now, like, that would have been a good challenge for me to just try and make something out of it, and obviously, like, earn that money. But
I actually think that set a precedent for you, because most people wouldn't do that when you're starting out in something. Your first thing is thinking, oh my god, that's £5,000. No one doesn't even have to see this. It's just £5,000.
Exactly.
But I think because you said to yourself that you're only going to do things that you love, that set the scene for the rest of the things that you're doing, and probably help you to rise so quickly as well.
Definitely. No, I agree. And I just remember saying to myself, like, I'm not about to take this person's money and give them something that my heart's not in. Like, and that's pretty wise for a 16-year-old.
It is. That's really intentional. And I think it's valuable for people to hear as well. Like, because I think people will be interested. How did you say no? Like, what was your technique of saying no? Oh my
God, it was the hardest thing ever. Because up until that point, like, I never had to turn anything down. Like, the things that I was getting, the jobs that I was doing was like, I was interested in, you know, I was working with people that I loved and I appreciated their craft. And then all of a sudden this brand comes out of nowhere and it's like, you know, someone rich owns it and they're like, oh yeah, I love your work. I want you to do something for us. And, you know, I just looked at it and I was like, oh, this is not me. What do I do? But it took me a while to say no. I think I was looking at that email for like 2 weeks. And then they probably thought, well, she's not serious. But I had to just get back to them and I was like, I was like, I'm going to ignore it. I'm not going to respond. I'm just going to leave it. But then I was like, no.
That's the music industry way.
I was like, no, that's unprofessional. Yeah. Let me respond. And I was just like, I can't even remember what I said. I think I said something like, I'm really sorry, or I'm busy, or I can't help you, or I'd love to, but like there was just the but, and the but was the no.
Okay.
So
that's better than what most people do, which is to just ignore.
I don't like that.
It's I think it's good to let people know where you stand.
Yeah, definitely.
Or where they stand.
For sure.
So how did you get your big break, or what would you define as your big break?
I don't think I've gotten my big break yet.
Yet.
Yeah. I feel like it's still pending. A lot of people, like, you know, that I've grown up with and they're around me, they're like, oh my God, like, you're doing so well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, thank you. But in my head, I'm just like, no, I need to be doing more. Like, I always know that I could do more. I always know that I could push myself. And, like, for me, I just feel like I'm still at 1%. Like, whereas to other people, they're like, nah, you're on fire right now. But I feel like if you don't aim high enough, then you're going to be content. And it's important for me never to get content and never to feel comfortable. So I feel like that break is still pending. However, I do feel like I've definitely had like some major highlights
What are they?
Yeah, what are they?
You know what? I've had a lot. I don't even know where to begin with. I think the biggest highlight for me was... I'm pretty sure there's loads of things that has happened. Actually, probably...
When did you have that moment you thought, like, is this my life? Like, how did I even get here? That moment that you just stopped and thought, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... Man, I'm trying to remember, like, the first time I felt like that, because I still feel like that now. Like, there's definitely jobs that I get and I'm like, rah, is that you, yeah? Like, to myself. But I think definitely working with Stormzy on Big Food Beats, like, that was a big moment for me. Because that day, like, not only is it Stormzy, like, one of the most talented, like, musicians from the UK, like, that shoot was just... everything, like from the casting to the locations, like the size of the production, like everything. And it was like a whole day. I remember like we wrapped at like 3-4 a.m. So for me, I think that was like my first like super long shoot. And like everything about it was just, yeah, like I was like, this is levels. Like this is where I want to be at from now. Like every video needs to be like this or better. Like,
right. That set the precedent.
Definitely. But before that, like I've worked with people like Chris Brown, Drake. I remember I worked with Drake.
So you worked with people like that before Stormzy,
yeah.
but you didn't get that feeling of the levels until you worked with Stormzy.
But at the same time, I feel like, I don't know. There was just something different about.
Did it
Were
mean
you working
more?
with other people, or was this your full? Was Stormzy your first production where it was independent?
No. So I was working with other people on that. I was working with Daps on that project. But prior to that, like my jobs with Chris Brown, Drake, like that was all independent.
Okay.
So those were mainly photo shoots, like things like that, stills, tour imagery. So I did definitely have that feeling then. Like I remember like just touring Europe and just being like, oh my God, like I'm going to all of these places. Like I think I went Barcelona like 3 times in 1 year. I was like, yeah, this is lit. Like I can get used to this.
Ryan just came back.
I just come back from Barcelona. Dope city.
But I feel like with the Big For Your Boots video shoot, like that for me was like, because I feel like music videos has always been like my love. And I kind of like drifted away from it. And before I was doing like a lot more photography, like that was like my first video back. And I was like, okay, like
got it
back. Like
this is it. I'm here.
Yeah. So, and that just really set the tone. Like it's been like dominoes since then. Like I'm really thankful. So
that's amazing.
So how did you make that transition though? Because 1, you're female.
Yes.
2, you're British. How did you even make it over? How did you make it over to the American artists?
I just took myself there.
Oh, you went to America?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Honestly, I just feel like if you have a plan, if you have a goal, like if you have anything you want to do in life, you just need to go and do it. I remember I wrote the treatment for Wizkid and Drake, Come Closer. And literally, like, I think it was less than 24 hours. Like, they were like, the job's booked. Like, we're shooting like tomorrow. I was like, I need to get a visa. I need to be out there. Like, I'm not missing out on this, literally. So I booked my ticket straight away. I was like, I'm going. Like, I was like, wait, to go to America, I need a visa. Like, what am I doing? Like, and at this point, like, I haven't been since I was like a kid. Like, so I was like, okay, cool. I need to figure this out. And then I applied for my ESTA and it was like, 72 hours. I was like, 72 hours, like, videos tomorrow. Like, I need to get there.
Oh,
so obviously
shoot.
the time difference helped as well because I was in LA and it's like 8 hours back. So, but they were like, panicking? I was panicking because online it says something like, don't book your flight until you got your visa. Like, it needs to get approved. And then my sister was like, oh, they're going to approve it in like minutes. And I did it and it didn't take minutes. And I was like, my flight is like 2 hours. If I don't leave now, I'm missing the flight. I'm losing out my money. What am I doing? So something just told me, like, pack your bags, go to the airport, like, it's going to work out. And literally, on my way there, like, I got the email, oh, your ESTA's been approved.
No.
So I was screaming.
That
I was like,
is so sick.
no, it's actually happening.
See when things are supposed to happen.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
but also you didn't wait for that.
Yeah.
you put your best foot forward.
Exactly.
And you just went with it.
Exactly, because I was like,
believe that it will happen.
Yeah. And for me, it was like, okay, cool. Like, this is like my first job overseas. Like, not overseas, but in the States. I have to like literally just be there, like go ham at it, like just be on set. So I remember just saying to myself, like, I can't miss this opportunity. Like, whatever it takes to get myself there, like, I need to be there. And
I love that. So what was your credit in that video?
So I wrote the treatment. So that's the concept.
Yeah.
And I did some stills as well and some styling.
Wow.
Dope.
Multifaceted.
That's really good. So let's talk about the creative process a little bit behind what you do. What's your interaction with the artist beforehand? Do you get to speak to them about it, or like we just mentioned about the treatment?
Yeah.
Do they come up with like an idea or a theme or a direction that they want to go in, and then you just build a story around it, or do you just come up with everything from scratch?
Yeah, there's different ways, to be honest. A lot of the time there will be a brief, maybe from the label or from the artist or from whoever, and they're like, okay, this is what we want to do. It's usually like a rough outline. It's never so detailed. And a lot of the time they're also open to hear your own take on it. But then some people know kind of like what they want, and they're like, okay, this is what we want, but come and put your flair on it type of thing. So it just depends really. And then other times, like, someone will send me a track and be like, okay, well, what do you think? Like, come up with something like of your own. But a lot of the time, it's usually that. Like, I would listen to the track and be like, okay, well, this is what I see. And even if I do get a brief, I don't really stick to it, because I just feel like people write briefs like based on, you know, what they feel like is going to sell.
Yes.
Or what people want to see.
What someone's already done before.
Yeah, what someone's already done before. And I feel like so many things, like, just there's always videos that are coming out and it's like, I've seen this a million times.
Exactly.
So
I get a feeling that you look at a brief and roll your eyes. Like,
yeah, I know. Oh my god, that has happened to me so many times, literally.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I'm honestly like as crazy as I was when I was 16 and I turned that job down. Like, that's how I am now. Like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not doing it.
Good.
Like,
Yeah,
literally. So
yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of the time I'd have like, I mean, sometimes they're like, okay, we need something same day, like today, but I hate working like that, honestly, because I feel like I'm not allowed to like really just get into the idea into like, you know,
what's that saying? Like, your lack of planning is not my emergency. Or something like that. And that's what the music industry is like a lot. It's like, yeah, we need it by 4:00.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, you rush in, you rush out type of thing. It's like,
but also it's a reflection of you, because once your name's on that,
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
No one's going to know that you only got the brief yesterday. They're just going to be, so what is that what Dalia is doing?
There you go. And then they're quick to write you off as well.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is so fickle.
Definitely.
No, it's true. But you know what? I honestly thank God, because for some reason I just happen to have the powers to like pull through every time. And I don't think I've ever someone else will have to tell me if my work is shit, but I don't think I've ever done something like in a tight time frame and being like, oh my God, that came out awful. Like, it's always managed to work out somehow.
Well, I think you would know, because it's your instincts. And it's two, you look at it, are you proud of it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's your dividing rod.
And another thing is, like, they wouldn't take
release
it on.
It.
Yeah, they wouldn't release. They wouldn't even shoot it if they didn't like the idea. They'll be like, nah, next director, exactly. Next person. Like, so.
How much do you take the context of a song, and that's like lyrics, the sounds, like the actual sonics of it, the tempo? How much does that play into the vision that you get?
It plays into it a lot. For me, it's so funny because in general, like when I'm listening to music, I don't really listen to the lyrics. Like, I'm not that type of listener. Like, if that's just me, like, enjoying music in general, like, I'm always listening to the beat. Yeah, like, I don't really take it, like, I'll hear the song, like, 3 times, then I'm listening to the lyrics. I'm like, oh, he said that, or she said that. I'm like, oh, that's sick. Like, but afterwards, when it comes to work, the first thing I'm hearing is the lyrics. I'm like, okay, what are they talking about? What do I see? Like, what is the message here? Like, what is the story I'm telling? So it's definitely a different approach, like when I'm writing to a song and creating the concept and treatment. But I feel like a lot of the time I try and do something that's not expected of that genre. I try and push the boundaries and, you know, create something that people will see and be like, oh my God, like, how did that come about, and why is this the video to that song? It's sick. Like, who thought of this type of thing? So yeah.
Do you look at other videos and get that experience, like, oh right, that is sick. I'm so inspired by that.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely like loads of people like out there. A lot of the time they're really like unknown directors or creative directors. I'm like, who is this person? I start Googling and trying to do my research, and I don't see their name on the video. I'm like, I need to find the person who made this. But yeah, it's really inspiring to like see other people's work. But at the same time, there's so many videos out there that I'm just like, why didn't they give it to me? I would have done a better job. Like, what is this? That
was going to be my next question. You must get frustrated as well.
I do, definitely.
I get frustrated when there's a song that you're proper feeling, and then you see the video. You're like, what?
Yeah, and you know when the video kills the song for you. Like, I don't even like the song anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like a video can make or break a record, like 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Especially in today's age, right?
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes like not all songs need videos. But then people like force it. They're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna make a video, and it's just like, nah, should have just left it.
So what? How do you know when a song should be a video though? What's the key elements of a song that you think, that will make a really good story, or I can create something to that?
You know what? I feel like there's two occasions where that happens for me anyway. I feel like sometimes like a song is just good, but it needs the video to make it great.
Yes.
And I feel like that's definitely like a good opportunity to like push the song further, et cetera, et cetera. But other times I feel like you hear a song, you're like, this needs a video. Like, I don't care what no one says, like, we need to start on this ASAP. So, but for me, those tracks are usually like either something that you know is going to pop off, or like something that has like a crazy like message behind it, and you're like, okay, this needs like visuals to it, so people can actually understand like the deeper meaning, and it
helps contextualize it.
Exactly.
I was going to ask that as well, because with Big for Your Boots as well, I was going to ask, with the excitement around that and you feeling that, how you felt, how much did the knowing what it meant to the culture play into that?
Oh my god, you know that I think the craziest thing is no one expected that song to be as big as it got.
Yeah.
Like,
really?
Yeah, that came as a shock. Like, but at the same time, like, I remember hearing it and I was like, this is good. Like, this is really, really good. You know, I was feeling it from the jump, but honestly, like, as soon as the record dropped, like, it was on radio, it was hit, it was everywhere. So I feel like that really gave it, like, the push. And then when the visuals came out, I was like, this is iconic.
Did
this
that
is
add pressure to it for you, though, knowing, like, it really hit on radio and things like that?
Because I was kind of like,
you're coming with the video and everyone's going to be looking out for it.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, it did. It did add pressure. But I feel like at the same time, like, looking back at it now, like, I think it came out, like, incredible. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anything else could have been done differently to, like, make it better. I think the video is, like, iconic.
It is iconic.
For a UK video, definitely.
Definitely. And for that sound as well, because that sound hadn't been represented visually like it was in Stormzy's Big for Your Boots.
Yeah.
That's history,
not picking up myself.
So there's a lot of cameos in that video as well. So you've got Julie Adignuga.
Yeah, Julie, Vicky Grout, photographer.
Yep.
Loads of people. Sophia. A-Dot.
A-Dot, yep.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
In terms of like getting cameos, it depends. Usually like the artist would know who they want in their video. A lot of the time they would have a personal relationship with that person. I feel like, like 9 times out of 10 that's the case, because I mean if you don't talk to someone, you're not going to want them on your video, right? Like, who are you?
How does that impact on the overall like look and feel of it? Because I know like obviously with videos you got stylists and other people's opinions and things like that. So when you have someone just popping up in the video, how do you still bring it all together as one?
Sometimes it's hard because I mean the person making the cameo might not be an artist. They might not be someone in the industry. They might just be a random person. They might be the person's mum. They could be whoever. So I feel like, for the person styling, it's like, okay, how do I work with this person? How do I make them fit in with the concept? How do I make them look good, type of thing?
And comfortable behind camera.
And comfortable, exactly. So it's a lot of like briefing them, speaking them through like the day, like what they have to do on set, things like that. But that, like, I think using Big for Your Boots as an example, like, that was pretty easy because all the girls are in the industry one way or another, and they were very confident in front of the camera. So for styling, it was just like, okay, yeah, well, what's the girl's sizes? Like, let's get their looks together type of thing. It was pretty straightforward. But yeah, and I remember I casted my girl who was in the last scene of that in the police car. And I was just like, oh my God, you're in a police car, like going through Tower Bridge. Like, this is going to be mad. And she didn't even realize, like, her name's Denise. Like, she didn't even realize how big the video was going to be. So when everything blew up after, it was just like, wow, like, this is something we all did together. Like, it was crazy. Yeah.
Crazy. So you've worked with artists like Chris Brown, Migos, Ty Dolla $ign, Stormzy, and Tyga. What's the difference between when you first started working with them and when you've like repeated work with them? Yeah. Are they like more open to your ideas now? They trust you more?
Yeah, I feel definitely like the more you work with someone, like the more you get to build that relationship, and they know like you're gonna deliver. Because you, like, it's not like you shagged them or, you know, you made them look bad in their previous video or anything like that. And I feel like a lot of the time, like, if an artist doesn't like what you've done, they're not going to come back to you again. Not straight away anyway. They might give you a couple of years and be like, you know what, I'll work with you in a few years.
Yeah.
But
she grows.
Yeah, but I feel like it's just about building that relationship and building an understanding of who they are as well, like, and just following their journey as a musician as well. Because a lot of artists, like, there'll be, you know, this person when this album drops, but then when the next album drops, it's like they're in a different space.
That's right, yeah.
They're going through different emotions and they're going through different experiences. So I think being a lover of music first and foremost is very important, and just going along that journey with them as well. So you can definitely, like, show that through the visuals and show their progression as well.
Great answer.
So what's the typical production crew like?
Depends on the budget. It honestly does. Like, I don't think there's ever a typical production crew. I've worked on massive shoots. I've worked on teeny weeny shoots, like the complete opposite. Like, so
if you're working on, because obviously sometimes the creative direction may actually call for just having that one camera. I remember when Kanye West did that video of his daughter and they just did that on an iPhone. So it just depends on what you're going for. But in your ideal world, like, if someone because most people are not going to be thinking about the small shoots, they're going to be thinking about the big productions that you've done. So what's the typical crew like for that?
The typical crew
is Stormzy's.
It's huge. Like, the crew is just massive. Like, I mean, that wasn't actually the biggest crew I've worked on. I'm trying to think of, like, the biggest crew. I think, okay, so Whatever You Want, which was London on the Track, Ty Dolla $ign, Young Thug, Jeremiah, like a bunch of artists. And the concept was huge. Like, it involved, like, various people, like, massive cast. So I remember rocking up to set and seeing, like, literally, like, 6 hair and makeup stations. I was just like, whoa, because usually it's just, like, 2 people at most, like, doing everyone. So.
And where was this?
This was in LA.
Yeah.
So that crew was massive, like.
And how much of a role do you play in organising the crew? So, like, when you write the treatment, do you have to then say, like, okay, so
I want this person,
production, I'm going to require
so that's
this
generally,
amount of people.
That's generally the producer's job. But for me, I try and be a bit more hands-on. So when I'm creative directing a shoot, like I did with that one, I knew exactly, okay, the looks that I wanted, the hair and makeup that I wanted. Like, I pulled references for each and everything. I knew exactly what I wanted each of the artists wearing, things like that. So I prepped everything for the team anyway. So, like, the stylists, like the glam team. So they knew exactly what they were doing. But a lot of the time, it would be the producer's job to sort of, like, contact these people, find out their rates, make it work within the budget. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that side of things. Sometimes I actually do, especially if it's a UK job. I tend not to produce in America because it's just another world out there.
That's what I was going to ask, especially about that time when you got the treatment the day before traveling. That story that you told us.
Yeah.
Is that how? Because I was thinking, in my mind, I was thinking, how is that even possible? You've never been to the country.
Right,
how the hell did you manage to pull that off?
No, that's the producer's job. Yeah. And like with production, like there's a whole team. Like there's like the producer, production assistant, production manager, PAs. Like,
So who selects the producer? Is that you, or is that the record label that will have a video producer on deck?
It depends. It could be the artist even, it could be the label, it could be the director, it could be anyone, or it could just be the producer themselves. Maybe they got contacted directly and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go and find a director. That happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. So how long is the average shoot?
I think the average shoot is like maybe 10 hours, I would say. Like maybe bad. maybe 8 like in the UK I feel like it's less. Like I feel like here is like 10 to 8 hours, maybe 12 hours, but when I'm in the States, like I've been on set for 2 days straight.
Is that because there's a lot more bigger budgets, more scenes?
More scenes, just a lot more things going on.
Is it because of artist availability as well? Yeah,
exactly. Like, and sometimes like the more people you have on the track, especially if they're bigger artists, like it's hard to find a time where like you could get all of them together. So you have to just make it work. And I feel like a lot of the time producers tend not to do like, okay, film a bit this day, film a bit that day, because it just gets too expensive. So you're constantly like booking out the equipment. So like, the average shoot, I would say, is like 10 hours at most, but there's definitely longer shoots.
So what about things like location scouting? Do you have to bear that in mind as well in terms of who you're shooting, where they're all going to be and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I tend to go and scout the location beforehand anyway, check it out, see if there's anything else that I could get out of it and be like, okay, well, cool. This wasn't in my original idea before, but we could do this now type of thing. But it's just important to go and see where it is, see if it's accessible, like check for parking, things like that. So,
Do you have to change things on the fly a lot?
That does happen.
Not
a lot.
Your instincts will come in.
But I mean, it happens every single shoot for sure. It definitely happens like on every single job because I mean, you're creating something from scratch, so it's
even
it's
that
not
lighting and things like that. As well. The weather,
exactly.
The weather can really kill a shoot.
Oh yeah, that has happened before a couple times.
Have you ever like had a shoot where you planned to be outside and then the weather just said, "Nah, mate," but everyone was only available on that day, and you had to like somehow bring it inside?
That has actually happened with photo shoots. It hasn't happened with a video shoot yet, or hopefully never. I think when it comes to video shoots, like it's more like weather checking, like keeping your eye, because you know there's a lot more at stake. But in terms of like photography, like there's been loads of photo shoots that I've had where it started raining, like the weather's changed completely, the sun disappeared and like traveled and went to another universe. Like crazy things have happened. But I remember like there was a photo shoot that I did and it started pouring down like with rain. I was in the forest and I was like, you know what? Let's just shoot for it. Like the light completely changed everything, but the pictures came out amazing. You got to push through.
There you go. Sometimes you can't plan.
Yeah, you can't. But it's good for spontaneous things to happen. Definitely.
Definitely
gives you different results.
And what's the post-production like? Do you get involved in that a lot?
Yes.
that's where you're at the moment with a few projects, right?
Post is definitely another world. Like I feel like a lot of clients, they don't really consider that. They don't think like, they're like, okay, yeah, we've finished shooting now, so like I'm gonna get this thing tomorrow. Like no, like the job doesn't end here. Like
it's
especially
just
for
us,
like the job is still like it's half done. You know, it's only at 50%. In some cases, the post is more heavy than the actual content itself. So post could be like, you know, weeks or however long, but I feel like that's definitely something that is important because it does tie everything together. I think post-production can definitely like make or break like what you've shot. So you've got to use good people. When it comes to like photography, I allow anyone to touch my pictures. Like, I haven't met anyone that I trust yet. There's a few people that I work with that I know, okay, cool, if it's something like e-commerce or something like more simple, that I could just hand it over to them. But when it comes to like my more creative shoots, or like if I'm photographing a musician, for example, or if it's editorial, like I tend not to allow anyone else to like touch that, because if it comes out crap and it's the day of the deadline, then I'm like, this is me. Exactly. Like, it just falls back on me. But
how does that work, especially when you're dealing with other creatives and because obviously the thing with creativity is mostly in your head, and you have this image in your head that you're trying to now express to someone else.
Yeah.
How does that work with regards to like the videos? For example, the Migos video that you did recently, that looked like very high tech and things like that. So how do you explain that vision to someone, especially from doing this podcast? I've realized how much actually goes into the production, especially when you're using like green screens and things like that, and you can't even visualize what this thing's gonna look like because you're just in like some plain studio.
Yeah, they're
and
literally.
Now, this is supposed to look like it's sci-fi and like out of worldly. How do you explain that to someone?
Literally spot on. I mean, that's the purpose of the treatment, like to just get it as close as the real thing as possible. Like,
so you use those as like photos?
Yeah, a lot of references. So a lot of you just have to do your research, and that takes forever. So that's why a lot of the time when people are like, oh, deliver something tomorrow, I'm like, really? Like, it does take time to find like really good references that actually show you what you want to create. And the hardest thing is when you have an idea and it's never been done. Like, where am I finding the reference for this? It hasn't been done, but it's like, it's original. Like, buy into it. I'm not buying into something that I haven't seen. So it's a bit crazy. But it's just, you have to get like the treatment as detailed as possible. So in terms of like the references you use, like the words you're using, like just, it has to be very, very descriptive. So as soon as they read it and as soon as they look at that, like the pictures you've used, they're like, I can actually see this, you know, and they're reading along and like visualizing it, and they're hearing the track and they're like, okay, like, you could almost play it in your head type of thing. But with that video shoot, Bubblegum for Quavo, there was a lot of VFX. So like I literally just had to like mock stuff up on Photoshop to give to the VFX guy, so he knew like what he's doing and where the floating things are supposed to be and all of these sci-fi elements. Because at the end of the day, like, you have to show them, otherwise they're just going to come up with something random. So
that's the thing. There's only so much you can say in words.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also so that it remains your vision.
Yeah, but I mean, there's amazing storyboard artists. I draw, but I'm not as good as these people. Like, these people are actually like trained, and they draw each like frame by frame out or scene by scene. So it's like, that, I mean, that's great for something that's completely original, because, you know, if you can't find any references online, then at least you can illustrate it to show someone. So there's always ways around it, but some ways do take more time.
Yeah, exactly. No, it sounds really, really involved.
I mean, one video that I always go back, and I think it's like my favorite video of all time, is Michael Jackson, Remember the Time?
Yes.
And that video, like, I just can't get over it. Like, until I actually create that video myself, like, I'm never going to be able to be like,
what was it about that video?
Everything, like the storyline, the styling, the creative direction, the concept, like it was a movie. It wasn't a video. It was
ahead
a
of
film.
Its time as
it
well.
Was, and it still is. It still is. I don't think anyone's like come close to a concept like that and has nailed it, to be honest.
No.
I mean, there's great stuff out there, but that is just
even
next level.
Even from a visual effects standpoint, it still stands up.
Exactly.
Like when he does the spin, he turns it to dust at the end.
I know, it doesn't even look cheesy now. It was actually done quite well.
You know, when you look back at videos back in the day, like, oh my god, I can see that.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see the wire.
Who shot that video?
I should know.
I feel like I should know this because I know everything about Michael Jackson.
Oh my god, I can't remember.
Who shot
so bad. Shoot me now. I know, but I can't say the name. It's in my head.
My memory's not working at the moment,
but I can't say it.
Yeah. So videos these days, by the way, like as you said, there's so many videos. Do you think videos still have the same worth they did back then? Say when that Michael Jackson video came out.
Yes and no. I feel like now there's this whole throwaway culture, and that's with everything from fashion to whatever. I feel like people just put stuff out quickly. Like,
yes.
And, you know, like
very
things
transactional.
Like, like things like social media, Instagram, like our attention spans are a lot shorter. Like we're always swiping, and then like if you swipe through your timeline, like I guarantee you can't tell me the last 5 pictures you looked at. So I feel like people with videos now, like unless they're doing something crazy that gets like, that breaks the internet, it's just like people just dropping things for the sake of it. But at the same time, like there is still value there. That's why, you know, labels will always put money in it. Obviously it's not the same type of money we had like 30 years ago, but it's important. I feel like it's just important, like as you know, as a musician, to have strong visuals. Like it's just part of the package.
I think so, especially like there was a massive lull like before YouTube really took music videos to where they are now. Like from a financial standpoint, there wasn't a big what's the word, like a return on investment for the labels to invest into music videos. But now there is, because of YouTube. Yeah,
exactly. But a label will still say no. If they don't believe that track is going to do well, like they'll just pull out. Like and doing well, what in numbers is what, hundreds of millions, right? Yeah. It's crazy because platforms like, you know, Link Up TV and Grime Daily, like you could easily get like millions of views on there. So, but I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. I feel like, a lot of musicians, obviously, like they put their videos on those platforms to get the views. But it comes to a time where you just need to like break out, have your own YouTube channel, have your own account. So you could just, I mean, you get money off of your views anyway. So why wouldn't you want?
Do you know that's what I actually say to artists? I actually say that to artists. I said that you're selling yourself short because what you're doing, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to grow your own audience. Correct. Because like you said, once you go on there, people are going to watch the video. It doesn't mean that they like you. Another thing that people don't take for granted as well when it comes to YouTube views is people can click off. It's still a view. So they could have stayed on and watched that video for 2 seconds. It still equates to a view. It doesn't mean that anyone's actually... I actually feel like maybe streams are more valuable than views. Definitely. Because, you know, I'm not going to go and look for your track. It doesn't mean you sat there for like 4 minutes and watch the whole thing. It's true. Like you can literally stay on for that to this is shit. Just keep it moving. You know what I mean? No, it's so true. But I definitely feel like, you know, ownership is a big thing. I don't really know too much about like the ins and outs of the music industry itself, but just, you know, like, I mean, in terms of like who owns what, like does the artist own the rights to their own stuff? But definitely important, like to have your own platform in terms of like YouTube and whatever, to just publish your stuff on there yourself, because you're constantly giving like another channel, another platform views. Sorry, Grime Daily. Sorry, Link Up. Advertising money. Yeah, you know? But like if you're doing that, then they're gonna continue to grow, and then when it's time for you to branch out, like the attraction isn't there, the audience isn't there, like nothing's there, so you have to start from scratch. At least you should be doing it concurrently. You should have your own channel, building up your own fan base. Yeah, you could post on both. Like why not? At the end of the day, it's your content. Yes. And this is a world of content. Yeah. You know? But it's just because, like you said, people are so they want the million views. They're not thinking about the business behind it. They're just thinking about the views. So. Here and now. Clout chasers, man. Clout chasers, yeah, exactly. But how important are views to your success, though? Important, I guess, because people see the amount of views you have on your videos and they're like, you know what is crazy? Because people they judge how good you are based off of your views, which is just silly. They're like, oh my God. Do you know why that is? This has millions of views. Like, why? Because they don't trust their own taste. 500 million people have seen this. It must be sick. It must be sick, yeah. They're not watching it thinking, this is sick. They're like, these many people have seen it. It has to be sick, definitely. And I think Kanye said something like that recently. Like, if you could hide like the amount of followers you have, he was saying that on Twitter. Yeah, then like things would be differently. Jamie said it first, though. I must say. So shout out to Jamie. Shout out to him. No, definitely. I feel like it is true to a certain extent. Like, if people can't like see like numbers behind something, then they don't. They're not gonna judge it. They're not gonna
they're just going to be a bit more open-minded. It's just like, okay, you walk into a room and you see a rich person and a poor person, or you see two people, you don't know what's in their bank accounts, but like imagine like numbers over their head, like it's like, oh, I'm going to go
I'm going to go speak to that person
instead,
because money can make a man look attractive.
Especially all these musicians.
Exactly.
I'm just like, man, if you guys didn't have money, you wouldn't be shit.
Jay-Z say, when you're a billionaire, you're cute.
He did say that.
Did he actually say that? That is hilarious. I know, it's so funny. There's like, someone said like, there's no such thing as ugly, there's broke.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like they were just speaking about like, you know, just girls that are like, you know, getting their asses done and their lips done and their boobs and all of this stuff.
That's true from that perspective, because you can buy cute now.
Yeah, you can buy cute now.
Yeah,
you know,
proven,
pick it off the shelf.
For real. Bloody hell.
Crazy.
But yeah, that's something that I hate, like putting in my videos. Like when someone's like, I need a girl with a fat ass, I'm just like, it's
so done. Like it's been done from the 80s.
Yeah,
like, come on.
That's just not what I stand for. Like, I am low-key a feminist, and I try like not to go on and rant about it too much, but I would be like, no, like, where's the black girls? You know what I mean? Like, it's not every day like anything else but black. Like, black is beautiful. Let's put more black girls in our videos. Like, let's do this. Let's change this.
You're a
like,
black girl as well. So
yeah, exactly. I'm black too.
That
so
rhetoric.
Exactly. Like, my work has to be a reflection of me. So
how do you approach those conversations with artists that are like dead set on, no, I just want to do this?
I think people just know now, man. Like, don't work with me if you want something else. Like, you know, my portfolio shows it for itself. Like, you know, my eye based on like the type of people I have in my videos, the casting, like the look, the aesthetic, like the colors. So if you want something else, I'll just tell you, like, I'm sorry, I can't deliver that, you know.
Yeah, but I think your work is a true reflection of the world that we live in, though. It's not just a white world. Yeah. It's not just a black world either. There's such a mix. So
yeah, definitely.
It's important that that's reflected in your work.
1,000,000% for sure.
Yeah, has it ever happened to you that a certain look that you've created on a video has then translated into an artist's tour setup? Because I know we've seen like flying Ferraris and stuff from Amigos.
Yeah.
I think that was based off their album cover, wasn't it? Their first.
Didn't Travis do something like that?
Was it Travis?
No, Travis has got like the theme park.
He's got flying everything.
Yeah.
Stormzy took the police car scene from Big for Your Boots. And I think that was, oh gosh, don't quote me. I think it was the Brit Awards. His performance for the Brit Awards.
It might have been Mercury Awards.
I think the Brit Awards, it was rain. He had like rain.
Yeah,
or something,
maybe it was. Yeah, I think it might have been Mercury.
Awards.
Yeah, one of them. Mobo's Mercury, one of them. So that was really cool to see that. But it hasn't yet happened, I don't think, with anyone else. But I feel like people generally like they take bits and elements of like a concept and then they like integrate that with their live performances. But that's something that I definitely like want to get into more in terms of like creative direction and stuff.
Because that makes it iconic.
Yeah. It's just like more of like a holistic package. Like, okay, the video, then like the album artwork and tour, like everything.
Having all of that consistent
merch,
merchandise.
Yeah, and I think that's something that the Americans have done really well for so long. Because even when I look at artists like Rihanna, she'll transform a whole look for an album.
Exactly.
Even
They're
when she
just
did,
so
like,
ahead.
The red hair and things like that. That was like a look. For
but you know what? I mean, we always look to the States, and I think that's just because like the industry there is so much more bigger. I mean, the country itself is massive. It's like London times 1,000,000 in terms of size, but like, you know, they just invest more money into it and they pump more money into it. But I feel like London is slowly like getting there, for sure.
Because we're a baby music industry in comparison to them.
Is.
So
Exactly.
Definitely.
And
especially
people
hip-hop
like
culture.
you as well. And I think what you're doing by setting that precedent of only working to a certain caliber and a certain level, it's making the artist step up.
Yeah.
Like if you were willing,
I appreciate that.
No, but it's true because they're going to see you and they're going to think, oh, she's from the UK and she's doing big things and she's expecting a certain standard. So when they want to work with you, they're going to have to meet you at that level as well. And that's only going to make the other artists who are coming behind them think, oh my gosh, so okay, that's the level that Stormzy's working at. We got to come correct.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that Stormzy video set the precedent for lots of other videos coming behind.
Definitely.
And Stormzy in general, just his whole approach has set that precedent for all of the others coming behind. I've definitely seen a difference in like the past 2-3 years.
Yeah, growth.
The UK music scene, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. I do feel like everyone just needs to bring their A game to the table. Like everyone involved in production, you know, from the artist to the director to the makeup artist, like every single person involved, like you need to bring your best to the table, and that's only how you progress and level up. But at the same time, I feel like for me, it's just taking everything that I've learned in the States and everything that I've accomplished over there and bringing that back to the UK, because this will always be home for me. Yeah. And it's important to see, like, you know, my peers and everyone around here, like, do just as well as, you know, people are doing across the pond. So
Definitely. I mean, there was a point, there was a long era where you could look at videos on MTV and you'd be like, that's British, that's American,
exactly,
that's American, that's English, because the quality is just so easy to tell. You know what I mean? But now it feels like because of what you're saying.
But even just the sound,
the lines are blurred.
But do you know what is so annoying now? I kind of feel like people in the UK are trying to be a bit too American.
In what ways? What, visually?
I think it's...
Or musically as well?
Visually, not musically. We definitely have our own sound. But in terms of visuals, I think once something trends in like fashion or beauty or in that department, like people see something, they're like, okay, I want to do this. Like, I feel like rappers in America, like, they're kind of like the first to do the whole like crazy like Gucci like down to your socks type of thing, and then like, okay, people are seeing that and they're trying to do it here, and like, you know, girls wearing like lace fronts and like beating their faces and contours and all of these things. So it's like these trends, like they kind of pop off there first and then we adopt it. But
the irony though in saying that is London in Europe's the fashion capital.
Yeah.
So half of the time the Americans come over here, steal it, and go back there. So they're taking it from the European catwalks and then going. Well,
I mean, America takes everything, don't they, from everywhere.
And that's the thing. So then they regurgitate it and then they make it seem as if they started that trend first, but actually it was started here. Because I remember even back in the day, right, when Americans were wearing all these big baggy jeans and all of this and everything, and
like
it was a European thing,
like the leather jackets.
It was a European thing to wear things that actually fit. And then suddenly when you had like the celebrities that started doing it, and then everyone started following suit, but that was more of a European thing than an American, and 100%. Even down to the sound, like Americans just know how to take things to another level, like dance music and things like that. It all starts here. Even like look at Drake.
Exactly.
Drake comes here and then goes back over there talking like
culture vulture.
But it starts here. I think it's just I just think what Americans have, they just have this crazy amount of confidence.
No, definitely. I feel like they have the power and they have the ability to take something and just like blow it up, basically. Like take something small and like just try and make it their own, and they've always done that, like with everything. Like if we go back in time, but
exactly.
I definitely feel like it. Like you said, it's weird because the funniest thing is like it started here, but I feel like we kind of forget that because we see the Americans doing it, and then we aspire to be like them instead of being like, okay, well, like this is our own, like we're gonna own it type of thing.
It's just a confidence thing. It's like this is who we are.
It's a capital thing though as well, because. Like from a music perspective, like America's the largest music market.
But yeah, I mean, like America has like so much influence on the world, and we don't even realize it. Like me, for example, right? Like it's early. I feel like it's early up until like I've been going there like so much recently, back and forth. Like people like, oh my god, like you're doing your thing, you've blown. Like I'm like, why? Because I'm in America. Like what
the perception?
The perception. So
because you're doing the same job.
Exactly. I'm doing exactly the same thing. Like, I might be working with bigger artists, but like the visuals, the taste, like everything's the same. Like, you know, like the eye has always been there. The taste has always been there. But, you know, it's like seeing those numbers. Oh my God, this has to be amazing because it has these numbers associated with it. And
It's this by association, right?
Yeah, it's a world of perception. It really is.
Honestly,
so do you see yourself branching off into like longer form formats, like documentaries, short movies, full-length features?
Documentaries, yes. I do watch a lot of documentaries just for inspiration in general. I'm actually not a big movie person. I can't tell you the last film I've watched. I can't tell you the last time I went to the cinema, surprisingly. So I think it is quite bad. I used to watch a lot of films when I was younger, and I feel like that's where like my eye developed. But I feel like now is just I look at fashion a lot. I look at art a lot. I go to galleries, exhibitions, like museums, that type of stuff. And I feel like my points of reference, it's just it tends to be different to a lot of, other directors and stuff, because they would see a film and be like, okay, I want to adapt this and turn it into a music video. Whereas I would see like an editorial shoot, for example, or something in Vogue and be like, okay, yeah, we can actually turn this into a concept.
Right.
But not to say that I don't love film. I do, obviously, because it's part of the art, but it's not necessarily something I see myself going into. Like, I can't imagine, like, music videos can be stress, but
and that's 4 minutes.
I'm telling you, like, music videos are cute compared to, like, films, like, because that is just months and even sometimes years, so... But documentaries, for sure, like, I've actually filmed a couple myself, and that's something that I would love to, like, just be known for eventually.
Dope.
So back on the topic about being female, you work with a lot of rappers, most of them male. Do you ever feel intimidated as a female working with those artists?
No. I feel like simply because I've just been doing it from such a young age. Starting out when I was 16, like the first thing that I got into was like grime, rap, music videos. So I feel like I definitely, at the time, I was scared. I was like, oh my God, like, what's going to happen? Like, it's late at night, it's dark, I'm out here shooting, like, expensive equipment, no one robbed me. But, no, I was crazy back then. But, no, seriously, I feel like the more you do something, like, the more comfortable you get, like, in it. And, you learn to trust people, and it's professional at the end of the day, so you don't feel intimidated. But I feel like I intimidate people because they're just like, who is she? What does she know?
Perception.
Like, so, but it's something that I've had to get used to over the years. But for me, it's interesting because when I look at my work, I work with a lot of male musicians, but female models. Because when I'm shooting fashion, I tend to work with a lot of, women's wear brands and things like that. I don't really shoot menswear as much as I do women's wear. But with music, I work with the men a lot. So it's just a very interesting balance there.
But you've always been comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
And in your craft.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like starting out, I had to prove myself a lot. So back then I was just... I guess my confidence has definitely like grown over the years, because before I was just like, I have to prove myself, I have to do this, I have to like go the extra mile, I have to like, literally like break my back just in order for people to like, notice me or just, like take what I'm saying serious, like being a female. But now it's kind of like my work just speaks for itself. So
good.
Yeah.
If we go back in time, so you come back from boarding school.
Yes.
You've done your GCSEs. You've done your GCSEs.
Man, flashbacks. No.
So you've done your GCSEs, and it's now the last day of year 11.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself?
A very good question. Wow. I would tell myself, work harder. No. Not work harder, work smarter.
Work smarter.
Work smarter, because I worked so hard, but I didn't always make like the smartest moves. So work smarter. Surround yourself with great people. Like collaborate as much as you can. Like just have a team. Like I've bounced around a lot, like to try and find, like the right people that I could constantly like, okay, this is my go-to person for this and this is my go-to person for that. So try and develop a team for sure. And just constantly be on it, like keep your eye out there. I don't know. It's really weird because I've done all of these things that I'm saying, but I guess the biggest thing would be to like just to work smarter and not waste your time, because there's been so many like occasions where I've like spent too long on a project or dwelling on a project or just worrying about things too much, but you can't have an emotional attachment to it as well, because you might pitch on something and then you don't get the job. So that as well. Definitely, like, just understand this part of the game and just is how it goes, really.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. That's a great answer. It's a really good answer.
Brilliant.
What advice would you give to anyone coming up doing what you do?
Definitely what I just said about the team. Find your team. Find like people that you respect their work. They respect yours. You can grow with people that you just, like, okay, cool. Like, I think loyalty is just very important when it comes to it. Like, you have to be committed. You have to have that hunger, and you have to want to grow. Like, and anyone that's starting out, it's good to work with people that are ahead of you, but it's also good to work with people on your level as well, so you can come up with them.
That works sideways.
That works well for building a team.
Oh, definitely, 100%. And to assist as well, like, assisting is so important. Like, I can't stress how important it is.
I think that's something I found really endearing about what you said about flex, because most people think at the level that you are, you can get really full of yourself and egotistical to think, I've worked with all these people. Why do I need to assist? He should be my competition. Kind of thing.
Yeah, you definitely can't look at it from that approach, because, like, the funniest thing is, like, he didn't even know all the people that I worked with when I approached him. Like, he found out all of that later on, but I feel like you just always have to remain humble, because you could always learn from someone, whether they're younger or older than you.
Absolutely.
I'm still learning till this day. Like, I'm always learning. Every time I'm on set or writing a treatment or writing a concept, like, it's always a learning experience for me. So definitely, like, assisting is key, especially, like, to assist someone that is established, but as well at the same time just work with people that are on your level and just hungry, because that way, like, you all have the same drive, you all have the same passion. Like, you're not going to step on anyone's toes. Like, you're not going to look and be like, oh, that person thinks they're better than me. Like, no, like no one's judging anyone type of thing. So build a team and assist, 100%.
Definitely. It feels like you were thrown into boarding school and that was like a brand new situation.
Yeah.
But it feels like at every point, from then you've kind of purposely done that,
thrown yourself
into the deep end, and you've made it work.
So you need to be shouting out to mums.
I know,
mumsy,
man, and my sister. No, 1,000,000%. Like,
but I think that's what life does, though. It's like once you've been through that experience, it's like it can't really get much worse than this. And, you've survived that experience. So
at a young age,
yourself into another situation. It's like it's
you're going to come out on top.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that's something that is it's just something that everyone, like, from smaller communities, from the hood, goes through. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Tottenham at the end of the day, and I'm very proud about that. And I hope, like, I can inspire people from my area, and they could look at me and be like, okay, well, if she's doing that, then I need to do better. Do you know what I'm saying? I just feel like, a lot of people, like, especially with me growing up, like, a lot of people don't branch out and they don't explore and they don't, they just don't see the opportunities that are there that you're able to go out there and grab. Like, that's all you need to do. Just take yourself out of that comfort zone and go and grab it with your hands. So,
Love that.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing conversation.
It really has.
Thank you
so
much.
So inspiring.
I had fun.
I actually want to, like, continue, but I'm like, this is about to be about 3 hours.
I thought I was going to be nervous, but
I told you, once you get into it,
you guys made me
relax.
comfortable. For sure.
Thank you so much.
Love, man. Yeah, thank you.
So where can people find you online?
I'm early available on Instagram. I do not tweet because I'm too opinionated, and I think Twitter only gives you like 140 characters.
No, it's expanded now.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
You see?
You can give more opinions.
No, I'm good. It's too late to be joining, man, in 2019 that we're coming into. So early Instagram. My Instagram is shot by Dalia Diaz with an S.
Cool, perfect. We'll definitely we'll put it up in the description anyway for people
when this comes out.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
It's just a real inspiration.
It has been a pleasure doing this. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of For the Creators. As usual, make sure you follow us on Instagram. That's at For the Creators Podcast. On Twitter at @for_the_creators. And you can check out our website, which is www.forthecreators.show. and every single episode's on there, and all the ways you can contact us are on there. Make sure you hashtag For The Creators to join in on the conversation. And yeah, please leave us a review. Please share this with your collaborators and other creators that you think would enjoy this. Cheers.